Satu suara, together we rise and shine merdeka. Ta Malaysia. Kita Malaysia, together we march into a brand new era. Kita Malaysia. Satu suara, together we rise and shine merdeka. Ta Malaysia. Kita Malaysia, together we march into a brand new era. Kita Malaysia. Satu suara, together we rise and shine merdeka. Ta Malaysia. Kita Malaysia, together we march into a brand new era. Kita Malaysia. Satu suara, together we rise and shine merdeka. Ta Malaysia.
How do we empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more?
It starts with one.
From one employee to a team, collaborating with another team.
From one partner to their customers, to their customers' customers.
Expanding opportunity.
Earning trust. Protecting fundamental rights.
And advancing sustainability.
For our society.
Our economy. Our world.
That's the impact. That's the impact.
That's the impact each of us can have.
That's our collective opportunity. Empowering 8 billion people.
We are in a new era of AI.
Where we will be able to build as fast as our imagination.
Unlock our creativity.
And innovate responsibly.
As we take on society's biggest challenges.
Together, we can ensure these benefits reach
every country,
every industry,
and every individual.
When we empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more,
we empower the world.
Teknologi kecerdasan buatan AI dalam platform media sosial.
What the AI governance should be at the global level.
लिए हिरोशिमा AI प्रोसेस की शुरुआत.
Kita Malaysia, together we march into a brand new era. Kita Malaysia. Satu suara, together we rise and shine merdeka.
How do we empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more?
It starts with one.
From one employee to a team, collaborating with another.
By Kini Events and Malaysia Kini. With the great support from our partners, which are our collaborative partner, Microsoft Malaysia, venue partner, Unitar International University, soft skills training partner, the Malaysian Institute for Debate and Public Speaking, MIDP, our co-partners, Institute for Research and Development of Policy, IRDP, and Uniten Debate and Oratory Society. Let's give them a round of applause. We would like to emphasize here that the discussion today is solely for knowledge purposes and to encourage youths to voice out their respective opinions. Do take note that all the statements and suggestions from the debaters do not represent the stand of the organizers or any institutions. For your information, today's debaters are a total of 14 people aged between 18 and 25 years old. Before the event begins, I would like to make a few announcements. This event will be conducted in English. Each debater will be given 3 minutes to present his and her problem statement and suggestions. Each debater will be given only 1 minute to rebut and 1 minute to answer the rebuttal. A digital timer will be displayed on the screen during the presentation. Any personal remarks or negative remarks towards the debaters or any other person and institutions are strictly prohibited. Please ensure that your phones are kept silent throughout the event today. The audience can vote for statements and popular debaters on our website at mk.my/undidebate. Just to let you know, this event will also be live streamed on Malaysia Kini, Kini TV, and our co-partners Facebook, X, and YouTube platforms. Now, let's wait shortly for the arrival of our VIPs. Thank you.
How do we empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more?
It starts with one.
From one employee to a team, collaborating with another team.
From one partner to their customers, to their customers' customers.
Expanding opportunity.
Earning trust. Protecting fundamental rights.
And advancing sustainability.
For our society.
Our economy. Our world.
That's the impact. That's the impact.
That's the impact each of us can have.
That's our collective opportunity. Empowering 8 billion people.
We are in a new era of AI,
where we will be able to build as fast as our imagination,
unlock our creativity,
and innovate responsibly
as we take on society's biggest challenges.
Together, we can ensure these benefits reach
every country,
every industry,
and every individual.
When we empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more,
we empower the world.
Teknologi kecerdasan buatan AI dalam platform media sosial.
What the AI governance should be at the global level.
के लिए हिरोशिमा AI प्रोसेस की शुरुआत।
How do we empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more?
It starts with one.
From one employee to a team, collaborating with another team.
From one partner to their customers, to their customers' customers.
Expanding opportunity.
Earning trust. Protecting fundamental rights.
And advancing sustainability.
For our society.
Our economy. Our world.
That's the impact. That's the impact.
That's the impact each of us can have.
That's our collective opportunity. Empowering 8 billion people.
We are in a new era of AI,
where we will be able to build as fast as our imagination,
unlock our creativity,
and innovate responsibly
as we take on society's biggest challenges.
Together, we can ensure these benefits reach
every country,
every industry,
and every individual.
When we empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more,
we empower the world.
teknologi kecerdasan buatan AI dalam platform media sosial.
What the AI governance should be at the global level.
के लिए हिरोशिमा AI प्रोसेस की शुरुआत।
How do we empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more?
It starts with one.
From one employee to a team, collaborating with another team.
From one partner to their customers, to their customers' customers.
Expanding opportunity.
Earning trust. Protecting fundamental rights.
And advancing sustainability.
For our society.
Our economy. Our world.
That's the impact. That's the impact.
That's the impact each of us can have.
That's our collective opportunity. Empowering 8 billion people.
We are in a new era of AI,
where we will be able to build as fast as our imagination,
unlock our creativity,
and innovate responsibly
as we take on society's biggest challenges.
Together, we can ensure these benefits reach
every country,
every industry,
and every individual.
When we empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more,
we empower the world.
Sekian teknologi kecerdasan buatan AI dalam platform media sosial.
What the AI governance should be at the global level.
के लिए हिरोशिमा AI प्रोसेस की शुरुआत।
How do we empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more?
It starts with one.
From one employee to a team, collaborating with another team.
From one partner to their customers, to their customers' customers.
Expanding opportunity.
Earning trust. Protecting fundamental rights.
And advancing sustainability.
For our society.
Our economy. Our world.
That's the impact. That's the impact.
That's the impact each of us can have.
That's our collective opportunity. Empowering 8 billion people.
We are in a new era of AI,
where we will be able to build as fast as our imagination,
unlock our creativity,
and innovate responsibly
as we take on society's biggest challenges.
Together, we can ensure these benefits reach
every country,
every industry,
and every individual.
When we empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more,
we empower the world.
Sekian teknologi kecerdasan buatan AI dalam platform media sosial.
What the AI governance should be at the global level.
के लिए हिरोशिमा AI प्रोसेस की शुरुआत।
How do we empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more?
It starts with one.
From one employee to a team, collaborating with another team.
From one partner to their customers, to their customers' customers.
Expanding opportunity.
Earning trust. Protecting fundamental rights.
And advancing sustainability.
For our society.
Our economy. Our world.
That's the impact. That's the impact.
That's the impact each of us can have.
That's our collective opportunity. Empowering 8 billion people.
We are in a new era of AI,
where we will be able to build as fast as our imagination,
unlock our creativity,
and innovate responsibly
as we take on society's biggest challenges.
Together, we can ensure these benefits reach
every country,
every industry,
and every individual.
When we empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more,
we empower the world.
Teknologi kecerdasan buatan AI dalam platform media sosial.
What the AI governance should be at the global level.
Hiroshima AI
announcing the arrival of YB Tuan Gobind Singh Dio, Minister of Digital. Welcome everyone to the Youth Parliamentary Debathon 2024 organized by Kini Events and Malaysia Kini. With the great support from our partners, which are our collaborative partner, Microsoft Malaysia, venue partner, Unitar International University, our soft skills training partner, the Malaysian Institute for Debate and Public Speaking, MIDP, our co-partners, the Institute for Research and Development of Policy, IRDP, UNITEN, and the UNITEN Debate and Oratory Society. For your information, today's debaters are a total of 14 people aged between 18 and 25 years old. We would like to introduce our panel of judges to select the best debater who will be awarded at the end of today's debate. And they are Ms. Adila Junid, the Director of Legal and Government Affairs of Microsoft Malaysia, Ms. Chia Ting Ting, CEO of FG Media, a subsidiary of MKini Group, and Ms. Philomena Richards, Schools Outreach and Events of MIDP. For your information, this event will be live-streamed on Malaysia Kini, Kini TV, and our co-partners, Facebook, X, and YouTube platforms. Before we start our debate, I would like to invite Mr. Premish Chandran, co-founder of Malaysia Kini, to give an opening speech.
Very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. YB Tuan Gobind Singh Dio, Minister of Digital, Puan Elena Roslan, Senior Director of My Digital Corporation and My Center for IR, Dr. Jasmine Begum, Director of Legal, Corporate and Government Affairs at Microsoft ASEAN and New Markets, Ms. Adila Junid, Director Legal and Government Affairs, Microsoft Malaysia, Mr. Timothy Johnson, Chief Commercial Officer of Unitar International University, friends, ladies and gentlemen, students, thank you all for joining us for the Youth Parliament Debathon 2024. It's really great to have all of you all here in person, as well as everybody joining us online. For those who know a little bit about the Youth Parliament Debathon, it's been running, I think, since 2018, 2019. Every year we bring young people together to debate topics. In a way, it's a form of a training to create the next generations of members of parliament. The whole idea is to create young people to think about the key issues that the country is facing and how do we address these issues. This particular session is the second one we're having this year, and I think there are going to be 4 altogether in this year. So thanks so much for Microsoft for sponsoring this session. I think big clap to Microsoft, as well as our venue sponsors, UNITA. Thanks so much. I think today's topic is really about AI and how do we govern AI, how do we think about it. I think it's going to be such a critical thing in many aspects of our lives. In fact, I thank God I'm at this age where perhaps I won't have to worry about too much about what AI is going to bring in the next 20 years. I can, set up a nice bar and have a few drinks and not think about technology after the last 20, 30 years of technology. But for the young people out there, it's going to be so much a part of your lives. And how do you think about it? I think the lesson learned was, we set up Malaysia Kini in 1999, and that was really the early days of the internet. We didn't really know what was the internet at that stage, but the government in that day said that the internet will not be censored. So we said, why not set up something like Malaysia Kini and be bold about the journalism that we did. And those days, we had dial-up modems, you had to call, you had to do your HTML pages yourselves. You really had to work really hard to get news out. And today, it's in your phones. You're carrying a supercomputer, in your pockets, and you have social media and you have email. How fast things have moved in the last 25 years. This year, Malaysia Kini celebrates its 25th anniversary. So really, it has, news has changed so much. How we get our content has changed so dramatically. The way we think about the world has just revolutionized. So what will the next 25 years be like? With AI coming in, we're joking as asking, Tuan Gobin whether you'll have speech writers. Maybe AI will write speeches for you, right? Where will be the human in the loop? Do we need a human looking at content, thinking about the problem, right? Is it, you can get your answers so easily. So perhaps today it's about asking the right question rather than, what the answer is coming from. So it's really an interesting to be at the cusp of huge changes ahead. First order changes, second order changes. And I think in terms of regulation, we have institutions like MCMC. Should that be under the digital ministry, as the digital ministry, powers ahead? How do we think about policies and regulation we have today? I think these are really key challenges. I think YB Gobin is an excellent position with his legal background and his tech background to pioneer the way ahead. I know he has the full backing of Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim in doing this. So thank you so much today. We are really going to look forward to the young people who are going to speak today on this topic. But without further ado, I'll invite Minister of Digital YB Tuan Gobin to give his speech. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ramesh. Absolute pleasure to be here this afternoon with all of you, Elena Roslan, Dr. Jasmine Begum, Adillah Junid, Timothy Johnson, distinguished guests, members of the media, and ladies and gentlemen. We are in interesting times. Artificial intelligence revolutionizing every aspect of our lives, from healthcare, across to finance, from education, across to entertainment. We all understand that it has the potential to solve some of our most pressing challenges and thereby elevate the quality of our life. Malaysian government wants to promote the adoption of AI to yield its benefits to our economy and society. But we must understand that there is also the other side of the coin. The deployment of AI technologies will ultimately bring about big questions. Questions about ethical, legal, societal risks that we must address head-on. Thus, this topic today should Malaysia embrace an internationally aligned approach to AI governance, comes at the right time. As this government, and many governments worldwide, grapple with the question of AI and its governance. Malaysia currently ranks 23rd out of 193 countries in the Government AI Readiness Index of 2023. This is an index which provides insights for effective and responsible AI integration into public services and the global trends in the AI governance landscape. Malaysia's strength mostly lies in dimensions related to AI skills and education, suggesting the country is set up to be a source of much-needed AI talent in the years to come. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, we cannot rest on our laurels. Accelerating the adoption and the development of AI in the country and the region requires what we call a whole-of-nation approach that involves concerted efforts from different stakeholders to create the right infrastructure and ecosystem. In May of this year, the Prime Minister announced 3 significant announcements and advancements in Malaysia's AI ecosystem. First, the AI talent roadmap for Malaysia 2024 to 2030. Then, the launch of AI faculty at UTM, University Technology Malaysia. And thirdly, the Malaysian Artificial Intelligence Nexus. The strategy by the Ministry of Higher Education is to expand the talent pool for the AI ecosystem in Malaysia. To increase economic complexity, create high-value job opportunities, we also have the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry, MITI, which launched the new Industrial Master Plan, NIMP 2030, that charts the national strategic industrial development. This includes a mission-based project to establish Malaysia as a generative AI hub. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the question that currently lies at the uppermost of everyone's mind is the relevance of the Ministry of Digital to this new world of technology. The Prime Minister, in December last year, decided that Malaysia needed to ready itself for the challenges that we will see with technology moving ahead. There are challenges which would require cross-ministerial solutions. All in all, you will need to start a thinking that is quite different from the way we used to approach things traditionally. What does that mean? You have ministries that deal with certain sectors. Transport, dealing with transport. Health, dealing with health. Tourism, with tourism, and so on and so forth. Over the years, these ministries have, of course, developed their individual strengths, and they have their own focal points. The focal points, of course, to enhance the objectives of their individual ministries. Both you and I know that the digital challenge is one that stretches across all ministries. We must think about how it is technology is going to have an impact on every sector, and therefore we need to look at dealing with technology from that perspective. That means dealing with technology across all ministries, across the whole of government. In order for us to do this, there needs to be a ministry that has access to all ministries, and of course also the help of the Prime Minister to get certain policies through. So we have the Ministry of Digital, which now looks at how it is we can build an ecosystem that will be able to sustain Malaysia moving ahead whilst we grapple with the challenges we will see with technology. The Prime Minister chairs a committee we call the Met4IR committee, and this committee meets every 2 months once now. It used to meet 6 months once. And in that particular committee, there are clear targets set as to what it is we need to achieve. And of course, with different ministries together in that committee, and with the wisdom and direction of the Prime Minister, we can get things done. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is also important for us to understand the numbers. We move into an era where trade moves a lot faster than it did before. This would mean that opportunities would present themselves in different fashions very, very quickly, and it becomes, therefore, a competitive point. Every industry would want to take advantage of new opportunities, and they would want to take advantage of new opportunities quickly. What does that mean? We get up, we see something new, we want to adopt it, use it to the best of our ability so that we can improve, expand, enhance our businesses. The competitor that we have wants to do the same. Now, what that does is it tells you that you don't have a choice. If you don't do it, your competitor will, and he moves far ahead of you in a very short time. This being the case, I think it's quite certain that everyone will now have to adopt new technology. When you do that, you will see the economy of the country scale, and you will see a significant rise in contributions made to our GDP by the digital economy. In 2023, we recorded a 23.5% of contribution by the digital economy to our national GDP. The Prime Minister has targeted a 25.5% contribution by 2025, end of 2025. But I think that we can do better than that, and I've said this before. And let me explain to you why. In the Ministry of Digital, we look at 3 different clusters. First, infrastructure. Infrastructure does not mean looking at traditional telco towers and connecting different areas up. Infrastructure means looking at new gen technology, looking at AI, looking at quantum computing. And of course, as we go along, there will be new technology that will arise, which we will need to think about and subsequently adopt. We need to build a structure that allows us to adopt this technology and to sustain it. And when we do this, there may be the need for us to also establish institutions that guide us over how it is we need to govern this new infrastructure. And I'll explain this in more detail as we go along. Now, having said that, looking at technology, looking at infrastructure, looking at the need for a structure to build so that we are prepared for this, we go down to the next point, right, which is the second area that my ministry focuses on, which is security. So you want to make sure that you have infrastructure that is wide enough to cover new technology, sustainable, but you also want to make sure that it's safe. So the whole question of how it is you use this technology. Platforms are available, you can use it, you want to make sure that you do not have these platforms abused. All of us know now the scale of online fraud, other problems that we have. These are things that we need to deal with. And of course, we also have the cybersecurity aspect. You want to make sure that whilst everyone is pushed to adopt technology, we also ensure that the technology that they use is safe. You've got data, for example. You want to make sure that there is no abuse when it comes to data. That's the second part of it. The third part of it, of course, is talent. It matters not if you have the greatest infrastructure, secure, but you cannot make use of it. Now, this is the reason why we have to look at how it is we can build a Malaysia that is now ready to use technology so that we can all perform at our best. Now, when we look at talent, you're not looking at talent from a traditional sense. You're not looking at talent from a point of view of institutes of learning. We come to university, go to primary school, high school, then to university, we learn. That's education. But you are now in a time where you will need to upskill and reskill people quickly. And let us not forget that this is an area that also applies to people who are no longer in institutions of learning. So people who are already working, who stand to lose their jobs because technology is such that it will take over, we need to start thinking about them. How do we incentivize them, motivate them, so that they themselves take up the challenge and upskill and reskill? We must also be prepared to accept the reality, which is that not everyone would be susceptible to reskilling and upskilling. People like you spend your lives learning in institutions of higher learning, you graduate, then you work 10 years, you build your industry, and you are at the top of your game. You do not want someone to come and say to you, I'm sorry, technology is such that you're going to have to change your job, and I hope that you're prepared to upskill and reskill. A lot of people are going to say, look, I don't think I want to do that. You are going to have problems that are new that you need to think about, because it's a shift in how it is we do things. It's a shift in how it is we think, and it's a shift in how it is governments should approach this problem. So a Ministry of Digital is a ministry that looks across government, trying to find ways to resolve this problem, trying to find ways to ensure that we are structure ready for the challenges ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, I spoke about infrastructure a while ago. Today we speak about AI. All of you here have heard of AI. I'm sure, so you're here. All of you here have smartphones. Anyone here without a smartphone, please put up your hand. It's okay, I won't tell anyone. I'm sure all of you have smartphones. Anyone here hasn't used Google? Right? All of you have used Google. All of you here have heard of ChatGPT, I'm sure. Right? But let's be very honest, right? How many of you here have actually used ChatGPT? There are many in the crowd that haven't. But let me say this to you, right? It's okay, tak apa. It's okay for us to say, I don't know. That's what we are trying to get at. It's all right. It's all right for you to say, I don't know. Turn to the person next to you and ask him or her, how do you use it? Because if you have connectivity, you have a smartphone, and you have someone next to you who knows how to use it, you can learn how to use it in 2 minutes. And having learned how to use it, you will understand the real impact and power of technology. You will realize that as a student, for you to research a particular topic in your library, perhaps taking you 2 or 3 weeks, you can actually just prompt search in ChatGPT and you get your answers in 3 minutes. Now that's the kind of time that you're going to save. Of course, all of it may not be true, then you have a duty to go and check, but you get things done a lot faster. That's just one example of how technology works. And that is also an example of how it is in this room. Almost 70% of you did not put up your hands when I asked who has and actually uses ChatGPT. You can almost imagine moving out there. A lot of people know about technology, AI. They know about that face that can talk to you in digital and all that, right? But they don't understand its real impact. And that's why we are here. Now, let's take one step further. Assuming all of you adopt technology, assuming all of you here use AI, do you know how AI works? Do you know how ChatGPT works? Have you all looked up what an LLM is, a large language model? Where does the data that you get on ChatGPT come from? It must come from somewhere, and it must have been put into that place by someone. So you will now want to know who created that LLM, what has gone into the black box, and what is going to come out of it. Because you will want to make sure that what is created that gives you the answer is something that is balanced, something that is built for purpose. Because different countries have different characteristics, different countries have different areas of focus, and I think that is important. Now, assuming for a moment we understood all this, then you will ask yourself, you're going to have a scenario whereby the machine can do things on its own. The next question is, how much of control over that do you think you should have? Next, you will have to ask yourself this, how much of control do you think governments should have? And then, finally, beyond your borders, how much of control over that do you think that the region should have, for example, ASEAN, and then extend it even further to the global stage? Who's going to govern this? Are you going to regulate? Are you going to go to parliament? Are you going to create laws? If you create laws, how do you enforce it? You can't arrest the machine. How does that work in the backdrop of technology especially AI. So this is just one example of how it is this discussion is so important today. Because moving ahead, if all of us accept that technology is going to take over, if all of us accept that in order to keep up and in order to attain those actual benefits that technology can give you, as I said, the economy is going to see a severe increase in impact in technology. If all of us want to do this, we want to make sure that we have an ecosystem which is secure in the sense that we know exactly what we are doing, what we are relying on. It is safe, it is accurate, and we have a system to govern it. So we come back down to that question of how. How do you do it? Where does the thinking start? Some countries look at it from a governance approach. Now, why do you make a distinction between the words? Governance is different from regulation, because regulatory frameworks necessarily involve you going to Parliament, legislating, and then, of course, standards set by Parliament, and then in the event those standards are not met, then there are consequences. I'll give you an example. We have the cybersecurity bill that we passed in Parliament in March. This is a bill that requires certain infrastructure, critical network information infrastructure, to ensure that they take certain steps to make sure that their systems are secure. If they do not comply with that, then of course, they open themselves up to consequences, even penal consequences. That's something that we do through Parliament. So that's regulation. Tapi, on the other side, we have governance, which is broader because it includes standards. Maksudnya, no compulsion. It's not mandated, it's just standards, and of course, you need to comply with those standards. So if you look at EU, the European Union, they have got what is known as the EU AI Act. The EU AI Act is an act that looks at regulation, but it also appreciates that there are different levels that need to be looked at when you talk about regulation. There are areas that are considered high risk, and then of course as you go lower, it goes down that chain. So there will be provisions that require you to do certain things if you are dealing with high risk information data, and of course as you go down that line, different requirements. Then you look at America. America is slightly different. America, we have the Biden executive order signed last year. That is an order that looks at governance in the form of standards. So certain standards are set, and when you have those standards set, then of course you have bodies to ensure that there's compliance with those standards. Then you have China, of course, looking at regulations themselves as well, and governance themselves. Now that is at national level, which means that that deals with certain countries, America, China, and then you have EU, which is broader, as I said earlier, and then you also have a thinking process that looks at how all this would apply at a global stage. So you had, I think last year, the G7 meeting in Hiroshima, where you got leaders who sat together in a room and they looked at how it is you can have principles that guide countries so that there's data sharing, you are made aware of incidents happening in different countries, problems with AI, you share it so that it becomes something of a global concern, so that we understand and learn from each other, and of course we keep ahead with that race. But when it comes to that, the question is, how much of data would a nation want to give up when it deals with this? So this is where the discussions come in. I go to ASEAN, I sit down with our friends from the ASEAN nations. This conversation is a conversation that currently, that often comes up. And we are now looking at how it is we can move ahead. We know what the concerns are, but how do we put this in paper? How do we regulate this? We are looking at DFA, which is a Digital Economy Framework Agreement, which I think we can get up and running by December. Now that, of course, deals with commercial transactions because we want to make sure that we are able to, in the new digital and technology era, be able to trade a lot faster with our member states. That will necessarily involve us looking at fintech, new products in AI which will make trade faster, more convenient, so on and so forth. digitalization plays a key area in that. Now, how do you regulate it again? How do you look at regulatory provisions from that aspect? So it comes back down to what do we need to do in order to build a structure that is capable of putting us at the front of this digital race. Every country wants to be at the front of it, and rightly so. But if we want to be at the front of it, we must make sure that we have infrastructure that is sufficiently governed, so that we know exactly what goes into the products that we have, how it's going to operate. We also know what the risks are, where we need to regulate, to prepare in the event there's a problem, and how to deal with it moving ahead. Institutions of learning, AI institutes, for example, we need to start thinking about this. Microsoft has been a key leader in this area. Dr. Jasmine speaks to me a lot. And in Malaysia, we are working on something like that as well. Hopefully we can launch it next year when we chair ASEAN. As I said earlier, you have infrastructure. So there's a whole need to think about regulation there. Whether or not we want to embrace an internationally aligned approach, you have to think about that. That's what this debate is about today. Then is it secure? As I said, that is another area that you need to think about when it comes to regulation. Are you going to regulate just for domestic needs? Or are you going to regulate in a manner that inspires foreign investment? Because people look at your country and they say, look, this is the regulatory approach that they have there. We are comfortable with it, so we want to invest there. And investments in this new technology, they are big. We've got Microsoft, 2.2 billion. Satya Nadella came here a couple of months back. You've got Google, you have got AWS, ByteDance. Investments over 10 billion US dollars. Then you have got talent. Again, I think we need to start looking at talent very seriously. You cannot have a country that is technology equipped, savvy, but then, of course, a whole section of society who's not able to take advantage of it. So, in terms of governance, in terms of us as ministers and helming ministries, so on and so forth, we need to look at agencies that can get this done. We need to look at how we can move as a government so that we can put into place measures that are going to protect our people as we go along. So this discussion is about you telling me what you think needs to be done. And this is how the Madani government operates. We can't do this alone. We need to reach out to everyone, different sectors, hear them, because they are going to be able to tell us about challenges that they have in their respective fields. Just like you, students, who are going to debate this today, I want you to be frank. Express yourselves. Take it as a challenge. Ask yourselves this. What you're going to talk about today is going to be a problem that you will need to solve in the next few years. So you must now take that leadership and today deliver. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for inviting me. Have a pleasant day ahead.
Thank you, YB, for your inspiring speech. With this, the Youth Parliamentary Debathon 2024 will begin now. A total of 7 debaters will be presenting their statements. Representing the government, and they are Nasiruddin Hanif, Johan Iskandar, Rani Shafitri, Daniel Iskandar, Haikal Hairi, Tai Hon Lam, and Daniel Hafiz. Meanwhile, a total of 7 debaters will be representing the opposition, and they are Madien Nafis, Sarah Farhana, Saresh, Priya, Farah Shireen, Yo Darien, and Amir Hazim. Not only them, we're also joined by an AI expert today to also share some of her views with regards to the governance of AI. And she's none other than Puan Elena Roslan, Senior Director of My Digital Corporation and My Center for IR. I would like to kindly remind the debaters to please follow the rules and etiquettes during the debate that have been presented to you during the previous briefing session. Next, I invite the moderator for this debate, Associate Professor Dr. Farhad Nadi from the School of Information Technology at Unitar International University to chair this debate. Sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Diana. I am Associate Prof. Dr. Farhad Nadi, and I will chair the debate today, which touches the topic of AI governance. Before starting the debate event, I would like to give a little explanation about today's debate. The motion of today's debate, today's topic is, this House believes that Malaysia should support a globally aligned approach to AI regulation, such as advocated by the Hiroshima AI process. AI is becoming more powerful very quickly, and there are important questions about how to make sure it's used safely and ethically. One idea is to have a set of global rules like the ones proposed by the Hiroshima AI process. The Hiroshima AI process is an international effort launched in 2023 by the G7 to promote safe and responsible development of artificial intelligence, especially generative AI. It aims to create international guidelines to trustworthy AI that benefits everyone. This debate will explore whether these global rules are a good idea. Do they help ensure responsible AI development, or do they slow down progress? So without any further ado, let's hear what our debaters have to say. I would like to invite our first debater from the government team, Nasruddin Hanif, to present. Mr. Nasruddin, you will have 3 minutes for your statement, please.
According to the famous proverb from Wonderpads, apa yang penting, kerja sama. This is what we from side government is aiming for. We strive for the collaboration between all of the people in all of the multinational stakeholders in AI governance. 2 things I will do in today's debate. Firstly, I will set up the debate, and secondly, I will present an argument from government side. So, what does Malaysia look like in AI development? So compared to our region, we are actually pretty ahead, because according to New Straits Times, we are actually the 2nd in ASEAN in AI readiness and the 3rd in information and communication technology. Clearly, we are ahead. Secondly, where does Malaysia want to be? Firstly, Malaysia doesn't want to fall back, and Malaysia wants a slice of that AI pie. What this means is, we want to have bargaining power in the international stage. Secondly, we want to be a major stakeholder in AI development. And thirdly, we want to actually sell our AI services to other countries. So, both sides needs to concede that AI governance will happen nonetheless. It's just that they are tackling it locally, whereas we are looking at a globally aligned approach at it. So, what does a globally aligned approach to AI governance look like? It is a guide set by some international organizations, for example, the UN, the ASEAN, or the G7, that covers all the major needs of the stakeholders of AI development, and every country in that international organization implements their own spin to it. For example, the Hiroshima AI process. So, how is this good? First, which is my first argument. Global alignment will lead to confidence within Malaysia and all of its residents. How is this true? Because firstly, when it is globally aligned, a large majority of the world will use what the guideline states. And when it is locally aligned, however, only your country uses it, only a minority of the world uses it. So when everybody is using the same amount, the same set of rules, people take it more seriously, it is seen as objective truth. So the image of your guidelines will seem stronger. How is this important? 3 reasons, which is firstly, confidence. Because now the guidelines look stronger, everyone believes in its effectiveness more. Secondly, adherence, because it is repeated so many times, everyone is aware of what these guidelines are, the image of it is strong, companies are more likely to follow what the guidelines say. And lastly, simplicity, because everyone uses the same guidelines, trade is easier, regulation is easier. What does their side look like? If Malaysia takes a locally aligned approach to this, globally aligned approaches will still exist. Hiroshima AI process will still exist. Other models by the EU and China will still exist. However, in that world, Malaysia will be on the losing end of the spectrum because companies, if they want to expand, they now need to follow 2 sets of regulation, which is Malaysia's and the international regulation. Secondly, therefore, AI companies in Malaysia is only stuck to Malaysian market.
Thank you, time's up, thank you.
To conclude, if you care about the development of Malaysia, vote for Zai government. Proud to propose.
Okay, thank you, Hani. Now I open the floor to opposition to rebut this proposal. Please raise your hand. Okay.
Thank you, Team Government. So you mentioned about selling AI to other countries. I would like to ask you, to what degree do you think that it is possible? Have you considered trade and economic regulations, taste and preference of the people? And trade is easier, how is that? Thank you.
Thank you. So now, Hanif or anyone from the government side, if you have any reply, please.
Okay, so taking on that question, how is trade going to be easier? How are we going to sell AI? How are we going to cater to everyone's preference? Well, with an internationally aligned approach, we will know everyone's preference. Everyone has the same standard. It's going to be easy. Take a local approach and we will know our standards, sure. But last time I checked, we weren't the entire world. So with an internationally aligned approach, not only we will understand and appreciate the rest of the world's concerns, but we'll be able to take it into account. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Proud to propose.
Okay, the floor is open again for the opposition to rebut.
Okay, I think what I've meant by trade is not easier is that trade regulations such as protectionist measures that other countries take. And yes, I know you mentioned that internationally aligned approach, you get to know a lot of people's preferences. But let's just say if Malaysia were to invent a new smartphone brand, people would still be using Apple. Is it going to be easier for you to export your new phone brand outside? And are you sure that there are people going to be still using it because of brand loyalty and so on? And also the protectionist measures and the administrative red tapes are the trade regulations that are set by other countries. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any reply?
Yes, sure. Okay, while we are trying to govern trade and we are going to approach it, how are we going to approach it? By internationally aligning with other countries. Why would we care about which brand they would choose? AI, it's going to be standardized anyways. So, okay, yeah, so you use an Apple and I use a Nokia, so what? As long as the standards are there, the governance is there, I don't care what you want to sell. I genuinely don't care how much profit you're going to make, but I am trying to govern the standard. We are trying to set the standard so we know where do we stand. What can we not do? What can we not do? How do we approach this? Rather than, oh, here's a locally made phone, I'm trying to sell it to you. No, we're trying to govern the standard of trade, trying to join the governance of the standard of trade. Thank you.
Is there any other rebut from your side?
Yes, like you mentioned, who cares if I were to use a Nokia and you are using what other phones? But let's be honest, I'm talking about brand loyalty here that economically exists. We're talking about rationality, but that is how people will actually it is before Malaysia wants to export their AI, before Malaysia were to export these tools, they have to create a reputation that they are able to do well when it comes to developing these AI countries. Let's talk realistically. If China were to invent an AI robot and Malaysia were to invent an AI robot, people would first go for China's AI robot because they are more experienced. So first, we need to focus on being a locally aligned approach on utilizing our local talent in making sure that we are competitive first before going global and before working before working cooperatively internationally. That's what I'm trying to point. And also administrative red tapes such as regulations and also protectionist measures such as tariffs and so many other things that need to be taken into consideration that today Team Government did not answer me.
Thank you.
Even if we take the worst case scenario where everyone uses Apple and uses Apple only, we only on our side of the house, we have the potential to bring out something new. On your side of the house, you don't have the potential to export something at all. On our side of the house, we have the potential, only we have everyone using the same regulation and on the same page, and trade actually happens in our side of the house. Secondly, what you guys want, when you guys, oh no, Apple, everyone uses Apple, you guys just concede and say that, okay, let everyone use Apple, let everyone has that brand loyalty. We, however, we want to challenge this monopoly. And the main thing I will say here, don't stay in your shell and let other people colonize what is truly yours.
Okay, thank you very much. So let's start with the next, our first debater from opposition, Ms. Sarah Farhana, to present her statement for 3 minutes. Please, the floor is yours.
Okay, so good afternoon to all the honorable speakers and the attendees today. So today, the opposition team stands here and we provide a strong summary of the opposition's case and refute the arguments put forth by the government. In this crucial stage of the debate, it is our duty to solidify the position of the opposition and demonstrate that our arguments should prevail. So, the opposition team stands by a locally aligned approach to AI regulation. Now, what is a locally aligned approach? A locally aligned approach is an approach that is done domestically utilizing domestic talent. If you were to realistically speaking, if you were to talk about an internationally aligned approach, it would be way expensive. It is expensive to import infrastructure, outsource talent, and technology required. And this also has negative impacts on the economy because of economic dependency in other countries, resulting in Malaysia to have significant outflow of capital and less support for local tech systems themselves. That means local tech companies won't be able to grow. In this sense, hiring professionals from other countries because of this internationally aligned approach will also hinder the development of local talent and create vulnerabilities in the infrastructure domestically that will potentially harm the growth of the country. Investing in this caused Malaysia to also divert funds from other critical areas such as education and healthcare. What I'm talking here about is locally aligned approach in AI. And an internationally aligned approach in AI would be way expensive. And we need to consider other fields that Malaysia should also invest in and focus on, such as education and healthcare. My second point is that it is inevitable that Malaysia have inadequate intellectual property protection that makes it easier for foreign entities to exploit Malaysian innovations without facing significant legal actions. For example, genetically modified crops in Brazil has been stolen by other competitive countries. And protectionist measures such as administrative red tapes, tariffs, and so on should be taken into consideration. How easy would it be for us to join this internationally aligned approach? Last but not least, this locally aligned approach will be a more suitable approach for Malaysia compared to globally because the framework is adjusted based on Malaysia's current state in all aspects. For instance, Malaysia is a country that gives importance for data security, and this globally aligned approach may not really press on data security compared to our own local approach because we know what we want. A locally aligned approach prioritizes national and strategic objectives nations such as the United States and China that have created their own AI governance frameworks that is suited to their unique circumstances. Hence, they are able to lead their way in AI innovation while maintaining their security and financial interests as it is their locally aligned approach. Smaller countries that have embraced may not really may not really have the best ideal outcomes for their local economy and society. It is possible that international standards lack the adaptability needed to serve both well-established businesses and high-tech startups in Malaysia.
Okay, thank you.
Next, Malaysia boleh, because we need to craft our own framework instead of relying on other countries locally to ensure maximum effectiveness of its policies and programs for the best of the national people, for the best of the nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Now the floor is open to the government to rebut this proposal. Yes, please.
Okay, so thank you for the team opposition. So I would like to remind that actually our infrastructure is quite complete enough, but maybe there's some improvement because for Malaysia, we did having a roadmap called Malaysia National Artificial Intelligence Roadmap 2021 to 2025. In that roadmap, we already stated that the financial, which means we would like to develop an AI investment fund to actually neutralize the AI startup. So the cost issue is being happened, but the AI investment fund will help the AI startup to let them to having the fund to start out on, let's say, the AI or what you mentioned about the model and the cost issue. So that is from the government.
Thank you. Any reply?
Hi, in regards to the point that you have brought up, yes, we agree that that can be doable, but we are looking at the feasible side of things. We are looking at how our funds can be allocated in a wise manner. And with the way the things that are going now, we believe that localized approach to AI governance is the way to go forward. And I can put forth some arguments to show you. First and foremost, relying on international standards will cause mistrust in general public, because the general public who do not already have a proper understanding of what AI is and how AI functions, we're talking about states such as Sabah and Sarawak here, who do not even have access to internet, what more the understanding or the knowledge about AI. So when we're looking at this, we should go for a domestically aligned approach, because that's the best fit for Malaysia right now as it looks to embark through this journey of AI. And that is my stance.
Thank you. So the floor is open for rebuttal again. Yes, please.
I believe what you bring in affordability is completely false. Firstly, you don't listen to my model because we apply guidelines from elsewhere into Malaysia. Therefore, the cost isn't really that much compared to you guys. Secondly, what you guys will have to do is you guys will have to develop a policy from scratch. Therefore, it is clear that your side is actually more expensive compared to our side. Secondly, let's have a thought experiment, right? Let's have a thought experiment. We have one group project where there's multiple stakeholders all contributing to a project. And where compared to one person doing one project. What is basically happening is in our world, there's multiple stakeholders, each contributing their own part to it. Therefore, each part is actually smaller. Whereas on your side, you're the stakeholder and you're contributing all 100%. Therefore, it is more expensive actually on your side of the house. How is it more affordable actually? How is your policies more affordable compared to ours?
Thank you. So any reply? Yes.
Hi, in response to your point that you have brought out, I think it is affordable because it is a part of building our own resources. We are looking at our own talents here, we're looking at our own infrastructure, whatever that we have already built up here on our ground. We are looking at bringing that forth to a domestic level. So we are now looking at developing our own AI expertise using our investing in local university students, or investing in our local talents in our schools. These little geniuses who, instead of being brought to Harvard or Cambridge, why don't we just keep them in here, in Malaysia, and work them towards helping us with our AI development domestically? And also, when we're looking at this, we can understand about how our AI policy here domestically can help with things like our pollution problem, maybe, or traffic managing our traffic issues. So AI is more than just what we use it for now, which is in ChatGPT, right? So that is our stance here.
Thank you very much. So is there any rebut from your side, please?
Okay, I'm going to ask the opposition one question. Is AI useless? Is AI really useless? Are we just going to have an AI app and leave it there and not use it for anything? No! We just covered this. We're going to put it into education. We're going to put it to healthcare. So big picture, please. We are going to put money where it matters, where we as the government will go into it internationally aligned. We will get on the same page. And yes, it's going to cost a little bit. But since when have you ever heard of a free lunch? We are going to put money where it matters, because then the return on investment is going to be, oh my God, is it going to be sweet? Because it's going to be internationally aligned. We are not talking about succumbing to international standards. We're not saying, okay, forget Malaysia, let's just go over there to Europe. No, we are saying, okay, Malaysia joins the table. We got to sit at the table. We put in our ideas and we agree to certain things. Thank you.
Thank you. So any reply?
Team government, I think you don't understand our debate today where we did not mention that AI is useless. AI is needed. What I'm talking about, using a locally aligned approach where we utilize local talents. Yes, nothing is free. I agree that nothing is free. You don't get a free lunch and you need to spend money for it. But at the very same time, if we were to rely on an internationally aligned approach such as importing machineries and AI and so on, these are the big giant companies abroad can just charge you constantly for upgrading the AI, for maintaining the AI. So what I'm planning to put to the table is that instead of bringing it in, why not we produced on our own? That is our argument today, a locally aligned approach. We start from scratch. There are many countries that have started from scratch. Even China, they're doing extremely well. This is a good opportunity for Malaysia to have a brighter future ahead. So why not we start instead of completely looking at other countries and continuously looking at others and just follow their footsteps when we can create our own history. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So let's move on to our next debater from the government, Johan Iskandar. So please, the floor is yours for 3 minutes.
Thank you. Okay, at the current moment, AI has the ability to analyze, create, and replicate data anywhere on the internet. So this would lead to two things: the spread of misinformation, as many companies even will abuse this power, and the ethical abuse of AI, as AI would be used to the data the AI is used on would breach privacy laws. Right now there is no clear leverage our country has no leverage to actually pressure other countries who misuse this AI against this to prosecute them. However, if we take an aligned approach to AI governance, we will actually have more leverage, as we have now the support of other countries on our side to prosecute the misuse of AI and maintain the ethical use of AI and protect privacy laws in our country. However, the opposition thinks they can actually do this if they take a local approach. That is false. If we take a local approach, we will not have the leverage to push our agenda and protect ourselves from the global stage. That's my time.
Thank you very much. So the floor is now open to opposition to rebut, please.
As for what you just mentioned just now on behalf of the government, you said that there will be more protection in terms of misuse for acts of anything that is such related to these AI acts. Can you not assure that there will be an ability to censor certain things? Where is the Censorship Act in all this? Are you trying to say that everything will be allowed or only certain things? And if there are certain things, what are those things? I agree on many terms that censorship is important in some ways because some people will run their mouth all willy-nilly. That's fair. But what are you censoring? That will be my question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any reply from your side?
Okay, fine. You want to bring in the Censorship Act? Fine. Let's go there. Let's go there. The Penal Code of Malaysia. Where is it from? Where is it from? India. We adopted it from India. We embraced it. Did we take it full on? No. We changed certain things. We manifested it. We took it on as a blueprint. A blueprint, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, the opposition wants to say, let's make history. Let's build our own. Compared to China, who's already done it. They did it 20 years ahead of us. Come on. This is not a competition anymore. This is not some arms race. This is not some Cold War. This is the development of the world. This is us stepping into the future. Now the question is, are you going to step into the future with the rest of mankind, or are you going to be busy posing for a picture, depending on who wrote history and who said what?
Okay.
Fair point that you mentioned, that the penal code of our country was taken from India. I understand that. But what you need to be aware of is, we still base those laws on the priority of our nation as it is over here. We still focused on our needs, our viewpoint, our cultures, and our values. But what is the one thing that I find funny is that whatever that you just mentioned is actually what we adopted. We agree that it's fair to adopt, but at the same time, we still have to prioritize what's important here, domestically as well. Can we please have a description on that as well?
Any reply? Yeah.
Thank you for illustrating our point. Yes, we are going to adopt. So why would we not care about our people? We as the government have to care about our people. We are caring about our people because, let me ask you this, are we the forward authority on AI? Are we the ones that developed, are we the ones that created this technology? Are we the ones that manifested it overnight? No. We are not the forward authority. Therefore, an international alliance grants us the key to the most important thing there is about AI, knowledge. Knowledge that if we push the international alliances aside, we will not have access to. We need them to help us understand. Not saying that we are going to abandon our ideas and go for an entirely different culture. No, we are taking it on and putting it to use for our people. We are not going to just abandon ship, let's be Europeans. No, we are just merely taking on an idea.
Thank you. So we can accept one more rebuttal from your side?
Merely taking on an idea. Isn't that what team government, from what I understand, is you guys want an internationally aligned approach. And today we stand here asking for a locally aligned approach. And I have mentioned earlier in my second point, we are looking for a framework that suits Malaysians, that acts as the best interest of Malaysians. Just now, it was mentioned that if we were to start from scratch, it would be expensive. But now you are mentioning that, yes, we're going to take and we're going to adopt it. So I don't understand what are the differences that you are implementing. Now you're saying that, you're gonna adopt these policies, but we're gonna change. So in that sense, isn't it better to have a locally aligned approach for the betterment of the people, as long as it is directly there? And are you sure? Have you considered what people want, what the people of Malaysia want, to be internationally aligned? And internationally, if you were to see so many reports about the Hiroshima AI, there are so many data leakages things.
So any reply? Yes, please.
I'm sorry, opponent. Seems like you don't understand the situations here. You keep mention about domestic stuff, but here we want to make it align. Why? Because we understand the alignment standard is making it global. When you make something to the global side, you apprise Malaysia into the global side. When you keep mentioning about just now we mentioned about global. We make it global. So when you make it global, it's a framework. Didn't you read the AI roadmap? Already mentioned everything there. The policies, the road, the regulation already are there. So here is, we want to make it a global because we already believe in Malaysia current situations, that we believe our current position in Malaysia, the status quo, is already exists enough and already enough to make this thing to be globalized, globally discussed. So ask yourself, if you make it just a local stuff, locally discussions, wouldn't you just like make a limitation to Malaysians? Are you make a limitations to our government? That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So let's move on to next debater, key debater from opposition, and invite Mr. Mahiuddin Nafis to present his statement for 3 minutes. Please, floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In order for the debate to progress, we think there must be a clash like just now. Unfortunately, government has been trying to debate in their bubble and not engage in what we are trying to show them today. Right. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, government, opposition, and members of the House. Just now, the government speaker stood before us and keep trying to convince us that as to their motion, this House believes that Malaysia should support AI globally aligned approach to AI regulations such as advocated by the Hiroshima AI process. My reply speech will be divided into two. First, why they are wrong. Two, why we're right. Hence, we prove to you why we reject today's motion. Mr. Speaker, even after the Prime Minister, the Deputy Minister delivered his speech, we still didn't hear that they will involve our local stakeholders in their plan to support on AI regulation in AI governance. So, well, it is different with me as an opposition where I will present to this House today why I am totally disagree with today's motion. So here's my argument. This is regarding about the preservation of national sovereignty. Adopting an international aligned approach to AI governance, such as the Hiroshima AI process, could undermine Malaysia's national sovereignty. AI governance involves critical aspects like data privacy, security, ethical standards, and regulatory frameworks, which are deeply connected to national interests and socio-political context. Tailoring these policies to Malaysia's unique context is crucial. National sovereignty involves a country's right to self-determination without external influence. Aligning AI governance with international standards risks ceding control over regulatory frameworks to external entities. International bodies might not fully understand or prioritize Malaysia today's specifically needs and challenge, often focusing on issues relevant to more technological advanced countries out there. So, for instance, I've given an example. Don't worry. International standards might prioritize issues that are more relevant to technological advanced countries, overlooking the unique development trajectory of Malaysia, our socio-economic condition, cultural diversity, and special technology landscape require a tailored approach that international frameworks might not accommodate. By adopting these international standards, we may find ourselves bound by regulations that do not align with our development goals or that overlook critical local nuance. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, as a Gen Z generation, we have to understand that today's align is not about the AI and so on. This is about our future regarding determination of Malaysia.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nafis. Now the floor is open for the government to rebut his proposal.
Thank you, YB, for, okay, you asked us why we have not engaged. All right, let's engage. YB, that's a nice suit. Did you make it yourself?
No.
Okay, so that means there was a tailor that had the framework of other suits, and then he customized it to your sizes, to your measurements. Same thing. We need a framework that the international alliances can supply, because there are over 30 international alliances out there that covers a variety of topics, that discusses many different issues, and we are trying to get to the table with them, not sit at the back of the room and listen to the teacher talk. No, we are in the discussion. We have our foot in the door. We have our voice at the table, and we have our stakes on the consideration plate. That's what we're saying. That's why we haven't engaged, because we thought you guys were on the same page as us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So just now he mentioned about my suits. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the House, you have to understand, today my suits has been tailored by the Thomas, which is the local company. It has been made from Malaysia. So that's why we show to the government that we must follow our industry, follow our local. Alright? So girls, boys has to be understanding in this case. That's why relationship never work at the end of the day. So before I continue, we also have to understand that today AI regulation is very difficult. It's about to, we can see that even Asian also, we don't have our own capacity to build our own AI. But different with the European countries, different with Hiroshima because they have their sustained fund, they have their support, they have a few countries that can support them. So that's the important thing for the government to understand why we put so much, we prioritize local to our motion today.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So any other rebut from the government side? Yes, please.
Okay, first of all, just because we're taking a globally aligned approach to governing AI doesn't mean we're going to ignore the global domestic market completely. Also, if you want to talk so much about inserting Malaysia's influence, how exactly are we going to do that without joining the international board? How are we actually, because if we actually take a aligned approach and join the other countries in discussing about how to regulate AI, we actually get to put our opinion in. We actually get to express our troubles. But if we take an isolationist approach, we will be standing by ourselves. We will not have anyone to actually help us through this. We will actually have to start from scratch. And while I do believe in the domestic market, I don't think we can do everything. I do believe in our students, but again, they do need to go outside to actually get some broader perspective on AI, which is why they do need to leave and learn. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So anyone want to reply the rebuttal?
Right. Thank you for your opinions and thank you for argumentation. So, like you said just now, if you agree, then you support reject today's motion because you literally didn't understand today's motion. We are trying to say that we have to put the local interest towards the AI regulation. We don't have to bring all the European, all the Hiroshima from Japan to our local act, because at the end of the day, you have to understand that we, as a Malaysian, will determine our laws, our ethics, and our society. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So, please, yes.
Okay, so thank you for the team opposition for this argument. But you know that, okay, let's take China. China used to be a big factory, and then they just copied down everything. But then they develop up with their own brands. So it means that when the moment we come in with this, with the international alignment, we are adopting their system, but with the local interest that we want for. Okay.
Thank you very much. So any reply? Yeah, please.
You're basically saying the same thing, right? You want to make it locally. That's the thing. And if you want the suit, you like the suit analogy, I can give you the suit analogy, okay? If you make the suit tailored to like China, Americans, bro, we have the halal certificate. If our suit, yeah, you like the suit analogy so much, right? We need our Malaysian. We support to be the Malaysian law, the Malaysian ethic, everything else, because we have history, our own law, our own recitation. We recite every Monday. We follow a Malaysian law. So you want to go bend to China, bend to America, bend to the Europeans, just like that? We have Malaysia right here, right now, and we support the local aligned government.
Thank you very much. So now I'd like to invite a third debater from the government team, Raina Rani, to present the statement for 3 minutes. Please, floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Seems like it's a very discussing too many things already, and it seems like the opposition still want to stand on their not clear argument. Okay, here let's start. Why AI should be embraced in Malaysia? The first thing is I want to say about Malaysia as a developing nation for responsible AI. Global AI governance with Malaysia's active participation can foster an environment that encourages responsible innovation. We talk about innovation and technology, right? This perspective allows Malaysia to champion responsible AI principles that cater to a wider range of needs by establishing clear standards for data privacy, bias mitigation, and ethical development. Thus, AI governance can be applied in Malaysia as it benefit all without compromising democratic values or human rights. Move into the second point here. AI governance for a long-term economic sustainability. We're talking about expensive costs. But did you guys learn about return of an investment? The big amount of investing, you invest to something, you will return back in the big amount of it. So here, responsible AI is crucial for long-term economic prosperity. Malaysia has the potential to lead a conversation on AI governance that impactfully attract AI developers, investors, stakeholders, and many beneficiaries that can fuel future Malaysia's economic growth. And how this can be beneficial to Malaysia, because all these international stakeholders and all these international beneficiaries can become a great talent to teach our Malaysian local to develop your local government. See? Okay, next move into the third point here. The third point here is AI governance is an indicator for Malaysian to become a thought leader. We become Malaysian in thought leader as an AI leader. We are here proud of the Hiroshima AI process. We're proud of the China development AI process. So how if we become a thought leader and proud of our AI development in the future? You cannot resist AI. You cannot stay in your local bubble. You cannot stay in your local bubble and just want to stay there, just proud of your local bubble, and then be like, oh, why you want to see China? Why you want to see Japan? We have a halal certificate here, but this is a governance. You don't have the regulation for halal or things and governance, and you can use that you sweet argument. See, okay. Next move to this leadership of AI. This leadership on AI as Malaysia become a thought leader in AI. To influence our international forums, Malaysia allows to become a responsible AI policies that reflect its regional and national priorities. Malaysia's engagement in global AI governance is not merely about suggestions. AI already exists. Accept the fact that AI already exists. Make it globalized. Make it aligned. Will improve Malaysia into a national level. Stop, stay in the local bubble and be proud of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So the floor is open for any rebut from your side, opposition. Yeah, please.
Okay, hi. Actually, you just supported our point for the first point.
What is that?
The first point you mentioned that you supported the AI locally. So it's basically our topic. We the one who support AI locally. Thank you.
I'm sorry, it seems like you want to make my argument seems like a false argument here.
You just mentioned it. Yeah, you just mentioned it. Like you support local.
Yeah, I hear we want to make Malaysia AI governance into global. Why? Because we want to make it Malaysia as a global standard as a thought leader.
Yes, please.
But still, there's a Malaysian word there. Just now you mentioned like China, Japan, and so on. But you still prioritize Malaysia.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you are saying that we prioritize Malaysia because you're mentioning about Malaysia interest. Yeah, let's go with Malaysia interest. But before we go into the Malaysia interest, are we gonna to say bye-bye to world guidelines or something? Like let's say you don't have any framework and you just simply say, oh, we're gonna develop our local things. And suddenly, when the moment you are throwing away from the world because you don't have anything to reference on. So that's why we are saying that we go through with the international alignment first, then we get something, we learn something, then we come through with it.
Thank you very much. So any report, please.
I think you need to understand first, Malaysia is a developing country. And what we're talking about today is international alignment. You think that international alignment, you just go to a conference, okay, I'm going to adopt this. Do you think that it's that easy for a developing country to start with? First of all, what our argument today is that we want a locally aligned AI governance in Malaysia. It's not that we want to stay in our bubble. We don't want our local products to be competitive. No, we want our local AI products to be competitive. Have you heard of protectionist measures in economics? Why do they apply it? Is to protect infant industries. So that's what we are talking about here. Locally aligned approach when it comes to AI. We want to encourage the local tech companies to come up with their startups. We don't want all this internationally aligned approach with red tapes will act as a disincentive for them to create AI and also participate in the innovation. So that's what we are looking for. We want to encourage startups in our country.
Oh, I get it now. I get it now. The opposition is confused. There we go. Oh my gosh, you could have just started with that, guys. Come on. We could have given you a vocabulary class. Here, okay, vocabulary 101. Embrace. The definition of embrace. Embrace meaning to take on something, just to take it on as a guide. We're not trying to go out there and govern the globe. We are going out there to ask them, hey guys, how do you do this? Because so far it's working. So that way we know what works for them that may help us, not copy-paste. You think this what? ChatGPT copy-paste, is it? No. We are looking at the example. Example. How many times do I have to say this? Example. Okay, and you want to talk about halal? Can. Where does the halal standard come from? The OIC, an international alliance. And we bring it back, and we allow it, and we adopt it here, and we make it a local halal
Thank you very
brand.
much.
That's how we do it. We take it from them, and we copy it, and then we align it with us. Come on.
Okay, do you want to rebut it?
That is what we are talking about. You said we see, take it as an example and apply. That is the locally aligned approach. By internationally aligned, embracing, you join these internationally aligned things, you go by their rules, you go by the international book. So that's what we're talking about, a locally aligned approach. Malaysia come up on its own. Malaysia come up with, you know, with our own capabilities, and we grow from there. Like you, just now he mentioned about how suddenly, okay, we start with internationally embracing, and then we go next. But don't you think we should start small first, start locally first before you want to enter the international market? Thank you.
Thank you.
Why start small? Why start small? Go big or go home. Go big or go home. Hang on. Okay, fine. You want to talk about, the internationally aligned approach is we follow their rules. Okay. Did Malaysia write the book on international human rights? But no, we did not. We were participating in it, and that's why we have the fundamental liberties in our federal constitution, because we were there for the discussion. You want to do local approach? Can. But what are you going to? But how are you going to get the example if you're not in the discussion? How are you going to get the framework if you're not part of the talk? How are you going to get the framework when you're too busy trying to write history?
Thank you very much. Thank you. Any reply?
First of all, I just want to correct your fact. I think you need to do a fact check about halal one. Yeah, I'm just saying. And then when it comes to, what you mentioned earlier is that, how are we going to know if we don't participate in this kind of talk, in this kind of thing? The thing you don't understand that it is just like that. Like people know, okay, I need to regulate AI, I need to make my AI competitive. What am I going to do with that? What are the steps are we going to do? Education and training, classes for students, make people come up with all these AI imports and so on. So what do you think? I mean, I don't understand what team government is trying to say, because team government is exactly saying what we want. We want to encourage locally aligned. That means something that suits our, something that suits our rules, something that suits our culture. So that's what we're looking for, locally aligned. And you keep on saying that, take it as an example and adopt, take it as an example and adopt. That's what exactly locally aligned is about.
Thank you. Thank you. So any reply from you?
Okay, enough. COVID-19, is Pfizer a Malaysian company? No. Is AstraZeneca a local company? No. But did we get the vaccines from them, and did we use them for our people? Yes. That is how we tackle a problem as an international community, as not just Malaysia, as citizens of the world. Because we don't live alone. Malaysia is a sovereign nation, yes, but it is not an isolated nation. We are not the Democratic Republic of North Korea. We are part and parcel of the world. We are part and parcel of the discussion. We are there. We are already there. The opportunities are there. Why? Why do you stand in the way of us trying to move the country beyond our local limits? Why?
Thank you very much. Thank you. So let's move forward. And I would like to invite the last and the third debater from Team Opposition, Mr. Saresh. Mr. Saresh, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. As for my topic today is that we should be aware of what are the agendas that will be followed on by the West. It is very clear stated, even in many of the policies that we could see. The Honorable Prime Minister has mentioned himself that there are some acts that will be set by the international organizations such as the EU and the G7. That is fine by many ways. But what we want to ask is one question. Why do they get the first say in this? Why not we say first hand in the international community? Can we or can we not set our own rules first and then we can compare it by many means? What we're trying to say is right now, we want a say first. Because if we follow them, there's no difference at all. We're literally just following their steps. They can set as many steps as they want, but who gave them the authority in the first hand anyways? In this understanding over here, I want to ask, what agendas are being pushed by the European Union and by such acts that are from the Western nations as follows? Because in my opinion, as it is, we are already substantial and we are already so open to many of these cultures in the US. LGBTQ, for example, you have hate crime. You know about politics more than the Westerners that are about our own nation. So my question right now to the government is that, do you want these policies to be secretly set onto our nation right here? Because in my opinion is, they have the opportunity to do it because they have already done it. You go to Netflix and just watch any show, for God's sake. How many things are not censored and how many things are wrong in many sense as well? This is what I mean by Western agenda. And with the fact that AI will be introduced, we want to regulate this as well. That is all we are asking on our side as the opposition. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Hang on.
So the floor is now open for rebuttal. Yeah. Please.
Okay, if I may take the floor. Okay, let's tackle your first point first. They are the first to set the policy because they are the first to develop the technology in the first place. They are the ones who pioneered the technology. So of course they know, because they know more, they get to set the benchmark. And just because, okay, and also second, agendas. Let's not be naive. There are also Eastern agendas. Everyone has an agenda. Every country wants its own agenda. But if you want to actually stop all this agenda, you will actually come to the table and actually talk about it. Let's ban all agendas. But if you don't want to ban all agendas, you have to bargain on the table. So you have to align with them as well.
So by that you mean being colonized?
What? No.
Oh, okay. So because you just mentioned just now, you claim to be on the losing side at the moment. So now I just want to ask a very simple question as well. There's a very simple question.
How is that colonization?
You just mentioned that.
What is colonization?
Saresh, please.
Whoa. Okay, colonization. Wow. That's a big leap from international alliance. That's a big leap from embrace. Okay, fine. Enough of this. All right. Let's talk about something they asked to us earlier. Why do they get the first say? Because they know what it is capable of. Because they made the thing. They designed AI. They created the product. So let me ask you this. Give a child a nuke. Do you really think we're in safe hands? Because did the child create the nuke? No, it just knows that it's going to go boom at some point. No. So we need to know where we stand. And how do we know where we stand when we are not part of the discussion, when we are not told and informed by the actual people who have the knowledge, who designed the thing? Let me ask you a question. Do you know how to just use something that you didn't create? Are you using your own speech or are you using one of ours? You created your own speech. You know how to deliver it because you created it. So we have to follow that.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So in order to be fair, because they have asked rebut 2 times without getting the reply, so I will give you 2 minutes. Two of you, maybe you can reply.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So thank you, Yang Berhormat Daniel Iskandar for acting like you are the one who's really suffer from that. Okay, all right. So let's we go back to our motion today regarding our AI internationally aligned approach to AI governance. All right. So I understood where is my click came from regarding the colonization. All right. Because as we know, Malaysia has been colonized by other countries. All right. So that's why we try to build up our local intelligence, because it's very different to compare Malaysia with a few years back then. Because Malaysia before this, we don't have any universities. But Malaysia today, we have universities that can enlighten that students from AI course. I give you an example, very easy. UKM, they have an AI course. What else you want? Oopsie, University Pendidikan Sultan Idris, they have AI course. So that's why today we bring to this table that we want to build up our own module. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You want to talk? Yes, you have.
When it comes to saying that, oh yes, US are the one who's pioneer the technology, they are the one have the upper hand. So let's just say just now you guys say that, okay, so Malaysia wants to focus on selling AI to these countries. I mean, yes, we should one day, but speaking of realistically, even if you were to produce an AI and if you were to export, what are the chances that these countries will not really steal it? Because Malaysia is just a developing country, while we have P5 such as like US, UK, they are extremely strong. They can just take whatever that we want, and they can just like, you know, so what are the guarantees in this point? So when we are talking about a locally aligned approach, that means we want to cater to the local people's need first, because that is our priority. And locally aligned approach is not just staying in the local bubble. No, that means we want to do things that fits our way, that follows our culture, but at the same time, you know, become more success in whatever that we do.
Thank you very much. We can have one more rebut.
Opposition, please get over World War II. Get over it. Just leave it behind. No one's colonizing anyone anymore. That's not a practice. That's not a thing. Colonization hasn't been a thing since, World War II. Okay. UKM, UPSI, whatever. Yes, we teach AI here. You know what we also teach here? We also teach law here. Do you know where the textbooks come from? LexisNexis. UK-based laws as an example, as a principle. Do we apply it here? Yes. Do we apply it to our people's needs? Yes. Do we go about a copy-paste nature? No. We embrace, we align, meaning that, yes, the footsteps are there. That doesn't mean we're going to follow it all the way to Timbuktu. We follow it to a certain degree, and once we are ready, we can divulge, because that's how alignments work. Thank you.
Thank you. So any reply from you, please.
Granted on that we are no longer colonized. But you need to keep in mind one thing. That was a physical colonization that happened previously. This could lead way to a digital colonization as well. Digital in a set where nothing can be said freely online. Let's just try it. Go anywhere on any website or anything and just leave a comment. And if that gets censored, won't you be curious why that got censored in the first place? Why is it that it got censored? That's all we're asking. Because if we think about it in our perspective and our point of view, it's just that what are the policies that we are allowed to say, what are we allowed to do, but at the same time it feels like we are actually trying to get permission from the European nation as well. That's all we are saying.
Okay, thank you. So one more last.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. YB, just a quick question. Do you use Google?
I use Yahoo.
Okay, fine, great, Yahoo. And does yes or no, does Yahoo have a little thing when you all apps even have that little thing that says, I agree to all the policies. And one of those policies are that that software is in alignment and does in fact pay respects to the local PDPA. That it is subject to the local PDPA. But did we make Google? No. Now, I'm going to turn on, I don't care which English radio, I don't care, Hot FM, Hits FM, whatever, and listen to any Eminem song. Is it not censored? It is. Is Eminem a Malaysian? I mean, if he was, I'd like to get an autograph. But it is censored because they do confer to our laws. Systems, software, technology does confer to our laws. Doesn't necessarily mean that we abandon our people just because we go global.
So we can get one more reply from Mr. Yes, please.
All right, thank you, Mr. Speaker. All right, thank you, YB Daniel Iskandar, for your elaboration and so on. I understood from where you come from. All right, thank you. So let's move on with our main topic back again. All right, so I understood when you want to say that regulatory frameworks where data privacy, aligned AI data privacy standardized with Malaysia's Personal Data Protection Act, PDPA. So that is why we reject today's motion, because we want to align it with our local standards. All right. So here I will tell you why. There is no use for people having flying car, but people are still suffer because of the technological advancement out there that you have brought. Right? So hence, I call together to this how. Together we reject today's motion, because at the end of the day, whatever what they want trying to say is like the modern way to colonize the other country by using, using the AI governance. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So we have reached the end of this debate. I would like to say thanks to all of you debaters here. And I will pass the floor back to the MC. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to our amazing debaters and respectable moderator. You may return to your seats. From today's session, we were able to watch their constructive discourse and their ability to articulate their viewpoints, which has truly captivated and enlightened us all. Thank you to Associate Professor Dr. Farhad Nadi for striking a balance, maintaining order, and stimulating an engaging discussion. Now, I would like to invite Puan Elena Roslan, Senior Director of My Digital Corporation and My Center for IR, for her commentary speech on the debate just now.
Wow. Yang Berhormat Wabi Gobin, distinguished guests. Yang Berhormat YBs from the parliamentary debate. Wow, you were very passionate. I think we must agree that we felt that we were really in the parliament. Yeah. The energy and the passion showed was remarkable. I think with this young generation debaters on board, we are in good hands for the future. However, I think I find myself agreeing, nodding at both points by the government and the opposition parties. While we need to have a localized governance on AI, we must also ensure that we are taking the best practices, and also there is some alignment to the international and global governance structure. Purely because the world now is borderless, we need to have inter-country, inter-government, interoperability. That's the big word. However, I think it's only fair that to give a more detailed commentary, it should come from the real MP himself. So I think YB Gobin, let's have you here. Then it's more real. Yeah, you get a real MP to give the commentary. YB.
Baik. Boleh. Terima kasih. Terima kasih. Memang satu sesi yang cukup menarik. Pelbagai hujah dibawa untuk menyokong pendirian masing-masing. Pandangan diberikan cukup benas yang secara keseluruhannya menjurus kepada dua aspek. Pertama adalah soal keperluan sebenarnya. Sama ada ataupun tidak, kita nak mengambil pendekatan menggubal governance kita sendiri ataupun melihat kepada struktur yang sedia ada di seluruh dunia supaya boleh menjadi panduan kepada kita dalam hal perkara kita fikir hala tuju bagaimana kita nak membuat perundangan dalam bidang AI. Dan ini saya rasa kita perlu halusi dengan lebih teliti. So I think the discussions clearly show that there are pros and cons for both approaches. But ultimately, you will have legislation and governance created by different countries, and you will have to look at what your country needs in particular as well. So jadi, I think moving ahead, there is a need now to put that debate into action. So I'm going to ask Saudara Nasiruddin Hanif on the theme of government, pintu government here lah, kita kerajaan perpaduan. Just want to make sure. And of course, also from the opposition, if you could actually sit together when you have time, mungkin hari ini atau esok, and let me know, come up with this, right? Give me 3 areas that you think should be governed locally or domestically, and 3 areas that you think we should look at international standards when we think of formulating our laws. When it comes to governing AI, there is a need for us to understand that we are moving towards a time where we will find countries dealing with each other on platforms that are cross-border. Maksud dia, kita kena lihat, berfikir bagaimana kita akan menghadapi cabaran yang jauh berbeza daripada cabaran dulu. So we will have to look at different challenges because platforms are global. And whether you like it or not, the same platform you reach, whether you're in Singapore, whether you're in London, or whether in Malaysia. Jadi konten platform itu akan mempunyai kesan terhadap negara kita. Dan konten itu tidak semestinya datang daripada Malaysia. Konten tersebut mungkin dia datang daripada tempat lain. The question is, how do you govern that? How do you look at governance from a local, domestic perspective, and how do you look at governance from an international perspective? So if you can come up with that, maybe, as I said, 3 thoughts on each, and then if I can trouble all of you, maybe we will sit down and have a cup of tea and discuss it, because my team, we are in the process of formulating laws. We have designed and, of course, put through Parliament the cybersecurity bill. This was done by my team prior to me coming to office last 5 years. A lot of work went into it, and I think that's important. We've got it through. We're in the process of now designing regulations so that the law becomes effective before we enforce it. Kemudian, we are putting amendments to the PDPA this session, Parliament. And then, more importantly, we are going to introduce a data sharing bill in Parliament. I hope to table it end of the year. So I would like to have that dialogue with you all. When it comes to the data sharing bill, I will call you, both teams, sit together with me. I'll give you a briefing on what we think is important, Because data sharing is one of those ways you will see how all of it comes together. And that when we propose legislation, we must be in a position to look at what we need domestically, but also how we can fit into the standards required by the international world, so that we can come up with legislation of our own, and perhaps others will also look at our legislation when they decide what to do in their countries. So, tahniah kepada semua. Saya rasa satu sesi yang cukup menarik. Well done. And to the organisers as well, thank you. Mr. Speaker, sir, you handled that quite well. I thought you were going to suspend a few people, but they didn't. That happens in my parliament, but we'll talk about that later. Again, thank you to the organisers. Thank you for inviting me to this excellent event, and I hope to see more of this in future, and we will definitely be in touch. So to all of you, tahniah, thank you very much, and we'll meet again soon. Terima kasih.
Thank you, YB, for the picture. YB Gobind, we'd like to invite you to stay to present the prizes to the best debater. Okay, debaters. Okay, debaters, please settle down. All right. Okay, thank you, debaters. Please settle down. YB Gobind, I'd like to invite you. YB Gobind, I'd like to invite you to remain at the center to present the certificate to the best debater. I'd like to invite Ms. Adila and Dr. Jasmine to join YB Gobind to present the certificate to the best debater. As well as joining in is Ms. Philomena. And Mr. Prem as well. Alright, for the moment we have been all waiting for, announcing the best debater And the winner goes to Sarah Farhana from Team Opposition. Congratulations, everybody. You may return to your seats. The winner for the Best Debater Award will be receiving a 1,000 ringgit cash and lifetime of Malaysia Kini subscription. With that now, I'd like to invite Ms. Adila Junid from Microsoft to give the closing speech.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here on a Saturday afternoon. And what a wonderful way to spend it, listening to our young debaters, our future policy makers. Congratulations to all of you for standing up there, making your stand. And I guess I would like to only share two things, which is one, excellent, passionate debate. You stood up for your convictions. I think if we could anchor our beliefs on facts, that would be great. So well done for that. The other thing is, I hope you noticed towards the end, you were actually converging on a position, and that's not a bad thing, right? So sometimes the position that everyone converges on might be the best position. And so maybe if we can set aside the idea of I win, you lose, maybe we can all come together for a really good position. And something like this really is something that is requiring all of us to work together to come up with a best position for all of us. So again, have a great afternoon. Be very proud of yourselves. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Adila. And congratulations once again to all the debaters today. Thank you very much, YB Gobin, for joining us. And on behalf of the organizer, we would like to thank once again our collaborative partner, Microsoft Malaysia, our venue partner, Unitar International University, our soft skills training partner, the Malaysian Institute for Debate and Public Speaking, MIDP, our co-partners, the Institute for Research and Development of Policy, IRDP, UNITEN, and the UNITEN Debate and Oratory Society. Once again, well done, debaters. We're confident that our talents will shine through and captivate us, leaving a lasting impression. With that, it's the end of the second episode of the Youth Parliamentary Debathon 2024. While you're still here, I'd like to invite you to scan the QR.
How do we empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more?
It starts with one.
From one employee to a team, collaborating with another team.
From one partner to their customers, to their customers' customers. Expanding opportunity.
Earning trust. Protecting fundamental rights.
And advancing sustainability.
For our society.
Our economy. Our world.
That's the impact. That's the impact.
That's the impact each of us can have.
That's our collective opportunity, empowering 8 billion people.
We are in a new era of AI,
where we will be able to build as fast as our imagination,
unlock our creativity,
and innovate responsibly.
As we take on society's biggest challenges.
Together, we can ensure these benefits reach
every country,
every industry,
and every individual.
When we empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more,
we empower the world.
Teknologi kecerdasan buatan AI dalam platform media sosial.
What the AI governance should be at the global level.
के लिए हिरोशिमा AI प्रोसेस की शुरुआत।
Kita Malaysia, together we march into a brand new era. Kita Malaysia, satu suara, together we rise and shine merdeka. Kita Malaysia,